Marcus Chen wiped down the counter of his small food stall in Sector 7 of the Galactic Trade Station, watching the evening crowd thin out. The aroma of teriyaki chicken and fried rice still lingered in the air. Earth cuisine had become surprisingly popular among the station's diverse population. "Excuse us, human." Marcus turned to find two small figures standing by his stall. They were Krivali twins, no more than 10 cycles old by his estimate, with their distinctive blue-gray skin and large luminous eyes. Their clothes were clean but worn thin, and they clutched each other's hands tightly. "Yes? Can I help you, kids?" The braver of the two, a girl with a small scar above her left eye, stepped forward. We noticed your closing. We were wondering." She swallowed hard, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can we eat your leftovers?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. In the 3 years since he'd opened his stall after his daughter passed away, he'd seen poverty on the station. But something about these two struck deep. "Leftovers?" he said softly. "I don't have leftovers." The twins' faces fell and they began backing away. "We're sorry to bother." "I don't have leftovers," Marcus continued, crouching down to their eye level. "Because I don't feed kids leftovers." "Sit down, I'll make you something fresh." The twins stared at him, frozen in disbelief. The boy spoke for the first time. "But we can't pay. Did I ask you to pay?" "Sit." Marcus fired up his grill again, his hands moving with practiced efficiency. He'd learned long ago that the secret to human cooking wasn't just the ingredients, it was the care put into it. As he worked, he asked questions. Their names were Rila and Jex. Their parents had died in a mining accident 6 months ago. They'd been living in the lower maintenance tunnels, surviving on charity and whatever odd jobs they could find. The station's social services were overwhelmed, and Krivali children often fell through the cracks since their species wasn't numerous enough to have strong political representation. Within 20 minutes, Marcus placed 2 steaming plates before them: teriyaki chicken, vegetable fried rice, and spring rolls. The twins stared at the food as if it were treasure. "It's hot, so be careful," Marcus warned. What happened next made Marcus understand why humans had a reputation across the galaxy for being emotionally unpredictable. The twins didn't immediately eat. Instead, they bowed their heads together and whispered something in their native tongue. A prayer or blessing, perhaps. When Rila looked up, tears were streaming down her face. "No one has..." She choked on the words. "No one has made us a fresh meal since..." She couldn't finish. Jex wrapped his arms around his sister, his own eyes glistening. Marcus felt his own throat constrict. He thought of his daughter, Sarah, who would have been about their age. He thought of all the fresh meals he'd never get to cook for her again. "Hey," he said gently, "eat up before it gets cold. And listen, I want you two here tomorrow evening." "Same time, we can't keep taking..." Jex began. "You're not taking. You're working. I need help cleaning up each night. You do that, you eat, deal?" The twins exchanged glances, then nodded vigorously. That night became many nights. Then weeks. Then months. Marcus taught them to cook, sharing human recipes and techniques. The twins proved quick learners, and soon they were helping with prep work, then cooking, then running the front while Marcus handled the grill during rush hours. The stall's reputation grew, not just for its food but for the unusual family running it. Other vendors noticed. At first, they whispered, "A human taking in alien orphans? Strange, inefficient, what did he gain from it?" But then something shifted. Another vendor started offering food to a homeless Silurian family. Then another began hiring refugees. The station's human resources director, a stern Valorian named Kresh who'd always seemed immovable, personally fast-tracked adoption papers when Marcus applied to become the twins' legal guardian. "You humans," Kresh had said, mandibles clicking in what Marcus had learned was amusement. "You're all insane. But sometimes that insanity is exactly what the galaxy needs." 2 years later, Marcus stood outside his expanded restaurant, no longer just a stall, but a proper establishment. The sign read Chen's Family Kitchen in 5 languages. Rila and Jex, now taller and confident, worked the dinner rush with practiced ease. Ambassador Tivel of the Krivali homeworld sat at a corner table, having traveled specifically to meet the human who'd sparked what journalists were calling the compassion movement. Across the station, dozens of similar stories had emerged. Acts of kindness rippling outward, crossing species barriers that had stood for centuries. "I must know," Tivel said as Marcus brought out a special dish. "What made you help them?" You'd lost your own child. Most beings would have closed themselves off from such pain. Marcus glanced at the twins, watching them laugh as they served customers. That's exactly why I had to help them. Sarah taught me that love doesn't diminish when you share it. It multiplies. And grief, he paused, his eyes distant. Grief can either make you cold or it can crack you open. I chose to let it crack me open. Tavel's translator struggled with the emotion in those words, but the ambassador understood. We have a saying on my world, the broken vessel holds the most light. I believe I finally understand what it means. That night, after closing, as Marcus taught the twins a new recipe, Sarah's favorite, chocolate chip cookies, he realized something profound. Humans had earned their reputation across the galaxy, not for their technology or their warfare or their adaptability. Though those were formidable, they'd earned it for this: their strange, reckless capacity to love beyond logic, to care beyond reason, to see suffering and choose, despite their own pain, to heal it. 2 children had asked for leftovers. A broken father had given them a home. And somehow in that simple exchange they'd all saved each other. That was the thing about humans that truly terrified and inspired the galaxy in equal measure. They had an inexplicable, almost supernatural ability to transform trauma into love, loss into legacy, and darkness into light. They were complicated, contradictory, and often frustrating, but when they chose compassion, nothing in the universe could stop them from changing it. The end.